So picture this, you are stepping up to the plate to do your ACLS algorithm checkoffs when you realize there are multiple different pharmaceutical interventions that start with the letter A. How do you tell the difference between all of them? How do you differentiate which one is for what algorithm? Today we will find out. Stick around and let's clear up the confusion. Everyone, and welcome back to the Palmer's Paramedicine YouTube channel. I am your instructor. My name is Nathan, and today we are in the office for one of our mini lessons. Today we will be talking about the pharmaceutical A's of ACLS. So, as if ACLS wasn't hard enough with algorithms, ECGs, bradycardias, tachycardias, now you've got all these different cardiac medications that you have to learn the classes of, the differences, when do you use them, when do you don't use them. Not to mention they all start with the same letter. So today we're going to break it down quickly and try and differentiate between these medications, clear up any confusion, and hopefully you feel more confident when stepping up to the plate to do that ACLS checkoff, to take that ACLS post-test. Now, quick disclaimer, before we get started, we are going to exclude aspirin out of this mini lesson. We're focusing on the big ones, the bradycardias, the tachycardias. That's it. So this is just going to be the 3 drugs excluding aspirin. So without further ado, let's get started. So the main differences between these 3 drugs that we're going to look at today is whether or not you use them in bradycardia or tachycardia. That brings us to our first drug of the day, which is atropine. This is going to be the only one used for bradycardia, the only one used for our bradycardia algorithm. Our dose is going to be 1 milligram per ACLS guidelines to a max of 3. The class of this drug is an anticholinergic or antimuscarinic. And like I said, it's used for that bradycardia algorithm. This works on muscarinic receptors. If you don't remember those from school, or maybe you haven't studied that yet, this is the parasympathetic nervous systems. Basically put, this is going to inhibit postganglionic acetylcholine receptors, and it's going to cause that increase in the heart rate. Now, this drug also has some other uses. Remember, that main one is for this bradycardia algorithm that we see in ACLS, but you might see this also used in organophosphate poisoning, pre-treatment for RSI and pediatrics to prevent that vagal response. That's going to be your only ACLS drug for bradycardia that starts with an A. But let's look at 2 that deal with tachycardia. So we've looked at bradycardias. Now let's move to tachycardias. Now, ACLS, they're going to make it even more confusing for us. They have not 1 but 2 medications. Both start with A's and are both used for tachycardias. Now there's one differentiating factor between these 2 medications, and we'll get to that. But first, let's look at the drugs. We're going to start with amiodarone. Your dose for amiodarone, you have 2 doses here. The first one is going to be 150 milligrams over 10 minutes. This is going to be in symptomatic, stable, wide complex tachycardia. Again, symptomatic, stable, wide complex tachycardia. Now, you also have a cardiac arrest dose for amiodarone. This is going to be for your shockable rhythms, and it's going to be a 300 milligram IV push dose, followed by another 150 milligram IV push dose. That's going to be for cardiac arrest with your shockable rhythms. So your V-tach without a pulse and your V-fibs. What is amiodarone? Amiodarone is primarily a class 3 antiarrhythmic. This is going to work by blocking those potassium rectifier currents. So it's going to kind of work on that repolarization of the heart during that cardiac action potential. So this is going to basically increase the duration of your cardiac action potential. This is a calcium channel blocker that increases the duration of that cardiac action potential, meaning the heart rate is hopefully going to slow down. So we're going to give that for the tachycardias. So like I just said, our uses, wide complex tachycardias. Remember that. Amiodarone is a wide complex tachycardia medication. So our last and final drug that we're going to look at during these pharmaceutical A's of ACLS is going to be adenosine. This is another drug used for tachycardia. Let's start with our dose though. Our dose is going to be 6 milligrams rapid IV push. Can be followed by a second dose of 12 milligrams rapid IV push. Now the reason for the rapid is the very short half-life of adenosine. We want to make sure and get it in as fast as possible so it gets to the tissues that we need it to. What is adenosine? Adenosine is a class 5 antiarrhythmic. Now this means it doesn't necessarily fit into the other classes such as sodium channel blockers, calcium channel blockers, things like that. This is a purine nucleoside base. It works on receptors throughout the entire body. But the ones that we're concerned about here are going to be those receptors found in the cardiac AV node tissue. We're working on getting that slow down to hopefully pull us out of this lethal tachyarrhythmia. For our purposes, we're going to use adenosine for narrow, complex tachycardia with a pulse. We're trying to convert this rhythm. The most common rhythm is going to be SVT. An important thing to note about adenosine is it's most of the time used as a therapeutic agent in SVT or other narrow complex tachyarrhythmias, but it's also used as a diagnostic agent in some higher level of care facilities to see what those underlying rhythms are. So that is adenosine. Use that for narrow complex tachycardia. So how do we differentiate between these three pharmaceutical A's of ACLS? What is an easy way to remember the difference? And I'm going to super simplify this so that you guys can differentiate these and you can go to your next checkoff with the confidence to get through it. You know these drugs. It's very simple. Three things. If it's slow, it's atropine. If it's fast wide, it's amiodarone. And if it's fast narrow, it's adenosine. Slow, so that bradycardia is going to be atropine. Fast wide, so that wide complex tachycardia is going to be amiodarone. And fast narrow, that narrow complex tachycardia is going to be adenosine. One more time, slow is atropine, fast wide is amiodarone, fast narrow is going to be that adenosine. That concludes this mini lesson today on Palmer's Paramedicine. If you like what you heard, give us a subscribe, hit that notification bell. We try to do videos every single week. And if you are a paramedic student that is struggling to get through school or needs help with National Registry tutoring, please check out our website. Check us out on Facebook. Send us a message. Give us a comment. We would love to help you out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.